Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2017, and it is week number 15 of competition. We are entering yet another season here with the Olympic Decathlon rings. And let's see here. We've completed 5 seasons, and this is going to be season number 6, the 2022-2023 season. You could see our improvement over time as we started out 8-19 in that first year. This year we were 19-13 and actually made the NCAA, also aka March Madness tournament, and we did get into the first round. However, that was getting through the qualifying round to get to the first round, so we actually won a game, the play-in game, to become the 16th seed, where we held strong for a half in the first round, but then got crushed in the end. But regardless, from the lowest division, we were able to make it to the tournament by winning the Conference V tournament. Now, over the last few years, you can see here are some of our award winners of late. We've had Conference V All-Conference First Team with Ian Dawson a few years back. He has now graduated. So our point guard has moved on, and so for the first time in a little while, our starting lineup is going to be a bit different. The following year, freshman of the year, Clifton Jennings, but we got bumped down from Conference U last year. We were in Conference V, and thanks to our position by winning the conference tournament, we are going to go back up. And David Blackman made all-conference second team last year, so good for him. We got a couple decent recruits coming in, though not amazing. And so we are back on to Conference U this year, where we're going to have Knoxville, North Dakota moved up from our conference. Northern Colorado, who we've played before. Cal Davis, who we've played before. The Elon Birds. South Dakota. North Carolina Central. Savannah State's the other one moving up with us. Central Connecticut, Northwest DC, Birmingham, Abilene Christian, who used to be in Conference V, our big competitors there, Alamo, Grand Canyon, and Seattle, the other team to move up with us. As you can see, we don't have very good standings against these teams besides Savannah State, so we've got our work cut out for us. We'll see, though, if we have a better team or not this year around. Speaking of, it's only August. It is not the beginning of non-conference schedules. We've got a big recruiting year, so we're going to do a recruiting special episode. Let's take a look at our roster real quick. We're not going to look necessarily at their abilities yet. We'll save that for when we get to the start of the season. Again, our focus is going to be on recruiting. So taking a look at the recruiting, right now we have a very, very balanced team, the most balanced I've ever had it. I have 3 at every position: point guards, 3 shooting guards, 3 small forwards, 3 power forwards, and 3 centers. So in that sense, it comes down to, what am I losing? Well, I have 5 seniors here. All right. But that doesn't mean I have 5 people going out, because one of them is a walk-on. And I don't really count the walk-ons. They're kind of just extras. 1 center is a walk-on, and 1 point guard is a walk-on. I have yet to have a walk-on that was good enough to compete for a position and offer up playing time, though I have had some walk-ons pick up a few minutes, but none of them have been serious contributors to the team. All right, so looking at the 4 scholarships that are going to leave us, meaning we're going to open up 4 scholarships this year, and that's the reason for this recruiting special. We have a center in Isaac Kidd. He was a JC transfer. He's done pretty well coming in. David Blackman, same thing, JC transfer. He made all-conference second team. So these guys have been good pickups for us. But now they're seniors, so we're only going to get 2 years out of them. They were both juniors coming in. And then 2 of my original recruits. Ian Dawson, who just graduated, has now graduated, but Mike Walter redshirted, so he is now a senior. And then Julian Marsh, also one of our first recruits, our second year of recruiting, and is now a senior, and he'll be moving on. Great job there, kid. 4.0 GPA in college. All right, so looking at that, I have a small shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and a center. So everything but a point guard. I will still have 3 point guards next year. And of my mainstay, you got 1 freshman and 1 junior, which means it's not necessary that I bring in a new point guard this year. Next year, I'll need to bring in one, as Zachary Collins will be a senior and moving on. But this year, not necessary. So I'm not looking at point guard position. But now let's go ahead and start with our recruiting and where we're at. So if you've never played this game before, or even if you had, you might be interested in how I set up my recruiting. Now, a lot of schools would begin with searching with players that have interest in attending their school. And that's what I did the first couple of seasons. But I've built up some skills since then. And now I don't worry about that. In fact, that's kind of the last thing that I look at. Now, players with interest are shown here. And these guys with all these double pluses were players that have shown interest. Not a lot of players. Decent amount. 1 higher rated player is in Molnar. And beyond that, everybody else on this list are all players that I've added in myself. So what I did was I manually went through and looked at all of the recruits in the state of Oregon and the state of Washington. Reason for that is our team, the Olympic Decathlon Rings, is based in Portland, Oregon. And if you know your geography of the state of Oregon, Portland is right on the border with Washington. So I have grabbed all of the available recruits from those 2 states. So one of my best tools in order to grab recruits is getting recruits that are close to the school and that want to stay home, that aren't looking to go out away from the school. So that's one thing that I really push, and I look for the recruits that have high interest in location. If they have low interest in that, well, I don't have much to attract them to our school. All right, so right now, okay, I have started the process. Since I did that, I grabbed all of the Oregon and Washington recruits from shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. Now, I didn't leave out point guard completely, but I only grabbed, I think, 3 kids? Yeah, 3 point guards. And the reason for it was all of them in the original standings that came out, all of them were in the top 150. It's been revised since, and actually just this week it's been revised on the overall ranking of recruits. And in that revision, some of them dropped off a little bit, but they all were still really high, and they all had a high B overall rating. So outside of those 3 kids that I take just because they're among the best that are out there, everybody else on my list is just simply kids that are local. Now from there, I've made use of my limited budget. I don't have much of a budget left. I improved my coaching staff without changing my budget at all, and therefore it's taken away from my recruiting budget a bit. So I'm trying to be careful on that. And what I'm doing is I'm getting their overall abilities. This changes throughout the year. You watch them more and more, and these will update as the season goes on. So what I did was I took the first 10 players on the list and set them all to watch film. So then I start to get an idea. That's where all these stat categories or attribute categories come from. And then the next week, I look at the next 10 and use my 10 watch film points on them. My Scout Live, when that comes up, I've been adding to that. So then there's been some weeks where I've been able to take a look at 13 players. But anyway, I have, over the last handful of weeks, we've only just started recruiting about a month ago, gotten a look now at everybody on the list at least once. And you can see down here at the bottom of the list, after the first set of updates, there are already some players that I am more than happy to to say goodbye to. Like these 4 guys down here that all have Fs on defense. I don't want players that are only going to play offense. And when you look at our offense, well, they're scoring D. Let's see, where'd they go? A C for that one, but D's for both of these. So I think these 4 guys are going to be the first ones to get removed from my list. And let's see, I've got to shift this over if I'm going to do that. So I'm going to remove you because you suck at defense. And even if you're get revised, it's not going to look much better. And you're a really low ranking already. And make sure this is the guy, defense F, yeah. Alright, so here's our first chance to whittle down the list a little bit. So those guys are all gone from my list now. If we look further on, there's still quite a few more players that are all in that F range and pretty low rankings overall. So I let a few more of these guys go, like Adam Brown. And see, he actually had a good ranking early on, or at least a decent ranking, but no, he's not any good. But again, some of these are going to change. It's another one. He's got a low ranking. We're going to let David Thornton go. And then we'll update. Let's see. How many others do I have that are Fs? Wow, 5 more kids that can't play defense. Look at that. Jones is ranked 236. He's already visited the school. I've only had 3 players visit the school. He's among them. Okay, well, I won't get rid of him yet, but these guys don't score and don't play D. So I'm going to get rid of a few more. No, they have pretty high rankings. Okay, I'm not going to get rid of any more just yet. There's a good chance that my evaluation of them is incorrect. If they're that high in the rankings, you'd think they can't be that bad. Alright, well, we've whittled the list down a little bit. Now there's 2 things that I do weekly. I have time to make calls, and so I always do that. And I tend to always work from the top of my list on that. I want to get to know the best players. This, as the rankings have changed, is a player that I haven't gotten to yet. That doesn't mean I haven't tried him, because he's not interested in me. That's kind of the thing. I'm not starting with the players that are only interested. I'm trying to recruit the best players I can get. So I've got to call them, and I've got to ask them for their time. And hey, look at that. He went ahead and gave it a shot. So we're going to start gathering information. So we've already given him some interest in the school now, as he went from 0 interest to he's willing to hear us out. So we started to learn a little bit about him, and sure enough, he cares about location, he cares about academics. So we've actually got a decent chance of recruiting this kid. And look at that. A for scoring, and a B overall. So pretty good kid, and he is ranked quite high at 87 now after being 349 in the previous rankings. All right, we're going to look at the next one. This is another one we don't have information on. He wasn't willing to hear us out, but it only cost us a little bit of time. Feltz is one we now have some interest. So we're going to continue to unlock the pitches. And use whatever time we have. Armstrong, another one we don't have time on. And we just unlocked him as well. So it was good. Now we're out of time. I know we didn't get through a lot of players, but that's how it works. I only have a few guys here that are unlocked on that. I did actually have some more, like Jones was interested, but he came for a visit and didn't like the visit. Wallace didn't like the visit. Malone didn't like the visit. So while I had these guys somewhat unlocked and liking the school, all of them dropped off. So not so good on our results there. But usually you'll get one or two that enjoyed the visit and it boosts up their interest. That was not the case this time. All right, let's go back to our watch list and update. There we go. Now, I was actually partway through the list on revising these and trying to watch film again. But now that new rankings have come out, these guys are all over the place. We're going to start right from the top and watch film on 10. Now, the thing for me that's going to be important is remembering where I left off. So that next week, I can look further down the list, and Earl is the last guy. All right, and that's it. We haven't offered any scholarships yet. We don't have anyone far enough along that we want to do that with, and we're not going to host any recruits this week. All right, so we're into the next week of recruiting, and you can already see some updates as a couple of these guys that looked like they were Bs are all now Cs. All right, so we left off with Earl, so we're going to set these guys for the watch film. All the way through McClinton. And it looks like I might be able to get everybody in that third group, so it only takes me 3 weeks at this point to watch film on everyone. Okay, and let's go to that call list. And here's another one. We have some information on him. We just want to unlock the rest. Which, by the way, I'm so much better at this than I was 5 seasons ago, or 6 if you count this season. It used to take me forever to unlock anything, but that's the thing, your skills improve over time and it gets easier and it helps you build a program. Alright, just like that, we unlocked everything on him. And location is number 1 priority. He's out of Gresham, Oregon, so basically Portland area, that's suburb of Portland. And we're out of time for this week. Alright, now, that was this kid. Let's see if he wants to come for a visit. Armstrong. Host recruit, he will. He'll come check it out. Feltz, I think he already previously said no. Oh, but he is willing now. All right, cool. And Williams, all right, those guys all have some interest, so we'll give them a chance to see if we can't boost that up. And it's time to recruit again.
You have new mail.
We have new mail based on those visits, so let's go check that out. Gerald Fords, he thought the visit was cool. Okay, see, there you go. That was different. Last time, all 3 guys did not like their visits. He appreciated the time. That's kind of okay. And Williams thought the visit was cool. All right, so all 3 guys this time had favorable returns from the recruiting visit. And look at that. 2 of them went up. one of them stayed the same. But we have more interest now from these players, and sure enough, there you go. Williams, the 87th best recruit in the nation, according to the current ratings, getting almost 19 points per game at the junior college level. We are now 8th on his top 10 list, 6th on Felt's list, and Armstrong, we're not showing up yet, but we're getting there. And that's kind of how I do it. I get through and I work these guys along enough until they have some high interest. If I can get them in the top 5 or so, I'll get to that point where I start offering out scholarships. And I start looking for that point where I get the guys that have the best ratings. They do change kind of throughout the course of the season, so you don't always end up with the guy you think you had. But that's how it works in real life too. Alright, well, we are on our watch film, and McClinton was where we left off, if I remember correctly. There we go. Set these guys all to watch film. We are back to the opportunity to host recruits, but not scout live. Ooh, we're not going to make it all the way through. Okay, we got to Grant. There's still 5 more guys left. So we've got 35 on our short list right now. After next week, and I've had a chance to evaluate everyone again, I might just try to shorten this list a little bit further. Alright, we have our call time to deal with. And Chad Williams here out of Waldport. Again, we moved up his list, so we got a decent chance of bringing him in. Except for he hung up on us that time. Okay, this is the other one that things boosted up, and now we've got everything unlocked. Playing time and location are the big ones for him. Okay, we've already unlocked everything for Armstrong. And Wise. Jones, we almost have everything unlocked. Oh, this is one. Okay, this was one that we had almost everything unlocked. He came for the visit. Didn't like the visit, so let's see if we can't get him back onto the list. We've already got everything for Wallace. We want Horton unlocked now. Gordon. There you go. There's another one. Got information on his family. Ooh, they have a lot of influence that can usually help us out. Alright, so we're out of time this week, but we've added another one with interest now. These guys all have interest already. Some of them have faded because these guys had 3 pluses, but again, they are so low on the rankings that they're not really what I'm after. I mean, they're all C's. Okay, I gotta remember we left off with Grant. Okay, recruiting again. And we've progressed another week. And let's get back to our watch list. And before I forget, Grant was the last one we looked at. Okay, we're going to get these 5. We're going to look at the top 5 guys again. Because it's constantly changing. And next week, I'm going to try to shorten this list a little bit. Alright, now we have calls to make still. So we'll start right here with Williams. We don't have everything unlocked yet, so we'll see if we can't do that this time. Yes, we do. Okay, so he's done. Here's Walker, who continues to give us the cold shoulder. We might have to remove him at some point, but for now it's only August. I don't need to remove him yet. Okay, Felt's everything's unlocked. Armstrong's got everything unlocked, but I don't seem to know anything about parents. We missed that one. Let's see, Darius Wise. Still not interested. Oh, there's Jones again. We lost his interest level. Wallace. Okay, Horton. Nope. Okay, Gordon we got unlocked last week, so let's see what we can do here. Well, we got his location. There you go. Milwaukee, Oregon, and very high. So that's going to be a good chance to draw him towards the school. But we're out of time for this week. And let's go ahead and progress to next week, where we're going to try to shorten the list a little bit as we head now into September. All right, we have new rankings once again. Plus, a lot of these guys have different overall abilities than what was shown before. So let's start with our non-defenders here at the back. I want to get this list down by about 5 at least, so that we can get it within 3 weeks. So Rich and the guy next to him, Hayes, are both going to be gone because they cannot play defense. Okay, well, there's 2 off the list. Okay, these guys don't play defense well and don't score well, and are ranked very low. So let's get both of them off the list, Carrington and Nicholson. Okay, that's 4 gone now. And let's see. Here's a D and a D, so you can't score or defend. So we'll have you gone as the 5th one gone for now. Okay, so that brings our list down to 30 players. A little more manageable now with that 10 film sessions each week. Now I can cycle through in just 3 weeks. What used to take longer. Alright, so Feltz dropped back down, but 244 is still fantastic. I actually have a lot of high recruits this year on my list. In most years, there's only 1 or 2 players in this area, in this region. The rest are below 300. Last year, the 2 recruits I ended up with were in the 500s, but both of them started up in this kind of range. But if we're looking at Feltz and Williams, let's say if I were to grab these 2 among the 4 that I get, look at that, high rankings, 244, 270, fantastic. And Feltz is still hanging on at a B, though Williams is just a C overall. There's definitely some quality here. All right, so let's start with our calls, and then now that we have the rankings changing all over again, our watch list for film is going to have to start from the top again. One thing I need to keep an eye on is GPA. Armstrong and Minton might not qualify. Their SAT score is going to determine that. Broussard here, 2.1. He might not make it either. Alright, well, anyway, let's get back to it. So let's make our calls, starting with Calvin Walker, who has not given us the time of day as of yet. Walton does have some interest. That's cool. All right. And let's start unlocking Portland State. So he is a local kid. Where was he from? Oh, Grants Pass. He's not that local. Grants Pass is at the southern edge of the state, but his parents went to Portland State. But they seem to have zero influence on what school he's going to go to. But we're not Portland State. We're just in Portland. Armstrong. We don't know about his parents yet. There you go. Now we do. Okay, Mitten. This one that hasn't given us the time of day. We have some information on this guy. Let's start trying to unlock some more. Okay, there's another unlock. Hazelton we just got. And we're out of time on that, so we're going to set up our film list for the week. With Walker on Walton and Armstrong Minton. I might look to host a few guys this time. I've done that for a little while. Alright, so Jones was the last one. See, Jones has slipped all the way to 10th now on the list. He was somewhere around 2nd on the original list. I used to offer scholarships too early, and then I end up getting a guy who slips 600-700 spots in the rankings. So I'm trying to wait a little bit more this year. Alright, so we'll see if Walton wants to come this time. Okay, Armstrong already has. Minton still has no interest. Lee and Hazelton. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so they all have some interest. We'll see if we can't boost them up. Alright, and it's time to recruit. You have head into the second week of September. Okay, let's go see how those visits went. Cool visit, Hazelton. Didn't think it was worthwhile, so Walton's going to slip back down, and so will Marcelo Lee. Alright, so back to recruiting. Okay, this is going to be the very first time that we are allowed direct contact with the players. So I will be able to start pitching some players. We did lose a couple of our guys here at the top of the list. In Lee and Walton, their interest dropped. And Hazelton's looked like it didn't end up rising. So Felton and Williams are kind of staying at the top of our list on best options out there. Alright, now we left off with Jones. So let's watch film down here. Okay, and down through Morgan. That should leave 10 more below that. So Morgan was the last one. And see, all of those guys have already been to visit. Wow, we're all the way down to about Gordon on those that haven't been hosted. Alright, let's go ahead and start with our calls. I definitely like to visit some recruits, but it's got to be ones we know. Walker does not seem interested in our school. He's a very high recruit, though. He's probably got some higher expectations. Definitely not a Conference U team. But it only takes us a little bit of time. So now we lost Walton last week, so he's hanging up on us now. But he likes location. That's big. Okay, Armstrong's good to go. He still has some interest. Minton has no interest anymore. Marcelo Lee is down to no interest, so we need to try to get him back. Hazelton does have interest. Let's see if we can't unlock some categories. There we go. Academics are big. Feltz has some interest. We are 7th on his list, and he cares about location. He's from Seattle. We're going to visit him. Okay, here's another one. Chad Williams, some interest. He cares about location. He's from Oregon. we're going to visit him. And I've already unlocked everything on those guys. Alright, so we're going to call Darius Wise. Alright, Jones, we still need to get him back. There we go, he is back on the list finally. And facilities is the only thing we haven't unlocked. Okay, and he does care about location, and Ridgefield is right on the other side of the border from Portland. So that's quite close. So let's go ahead and give him a visit. If we fail once again, we'll know that he's not interested in the school. So Adrian Jones is kind of last-ditch effort on him by going for a visit. If he says no to that, then I would take him off the list. Okay, Paris Malone. Definitely some interest there. I don't know where Kashmir, Oregon is, but let's go ahead and give him a visit, as everything's already unlocked, but he has no interest right now. Wait. So no, we're not going to give him a visit. We do have one more available visit, but I just don't think I have anyone right now to go visit. What about Armstrong? Okay, we've got him unlocked, so we'll go visit him. He's Portland suburbs, so we'll visit him and we'll pitch location. Alright, so that's all the time we have. Morgan was the last one.
You have new mail.
And let's see what happens. It looks like we are into scheduling for the season, so practices will be starting soon. And look at that, Armstrong, Feltz, and Williams, all with strong showings. That could be 3 of our recruits right there. And 2 of them are still seen as Bs and very high-level recruits, so it would be awesome if I were able to grab even just a couple of those guys. Okay, so we have home visits for 4 and scheduling for the season. Here's Armstrong, really impressed by the visit. Jones, okay, Jones is out. Okay, so we need to take Jones out. Visit went well, and visit went well. So Jones is out. I need to go back into recruiting, and we're going to remove Jones from the list. But 3 out of 4, great results there. Okay, where's Jones? There's Jones. And we're going to take him off the list. Okay. Our last 10 guys are the ones that we're going to watch film on this time. And hopefully I had done my math correctly earlier, that we were down to 30. Oh, have the recruiting rankings changed again? No, this looks the same. I don't know if I left off with Morgan or not. Did I do the top 10? No. Well, hopefully I left off in the right place there. Those are the 10 guys we're going to look at this time. And we'll whittle that list down again next time, especially when I've got a few high-level recruits. It's a shooting guard, a power forward, and a shooting guard. It's not the end of the world if I end up taking 2 shooting guards. I would probably do that instead of a small forward, which would mean I would still need a center. All right, it is another contact period, so we do have the opportunity to go see some more recruits this week, but I don't know if we have anybody to go see. Maybe Hazleton, but none of these other top guys are unlocked at the moment, and all the way down to Gordon. All right, well, that's the results there. That's how we do it. We haven't offered any scholarships out yet, but it looks like I'm about to offer 3. Oh, and Williams is a junior college transfer, so that actually would kind of work out nicely. With Armstrong probably end up redshirting for a year unless he's that good. And then Williams would come in for an immediate impact on the squad, and probably be starter at shooting guard. All right, well, we don't have any recruits yet, but I think we're making some pretty solid progress. And that does it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for